Welcome to the Rising Entrepreneurs Podcast, where we feature top founders and entrepreneurs and their journey. Now, let's get started with the show.
Hey, everybody. This is John Corcoran with Dr. Jeremy Wise, and this episode is a little bit different. This is a live interview that we recorded at the Global Leadership Conference from Entrepreneurs Organization, where some of the best entrepreneurs from around the globe share ideas and to learn about entrepreneurship. And of course, this episode is brought to you by Rise 25, where we help B2B businesses to give to and to connect to their Dream 100 relationships and partnerships, helping you to run a podcast so that it generates a referral pipeline and ROI.
Yeah, I mean, John, after both of us have been podcasting for over a decade, the number one thing in our life is relationships. And we're always looking at ways to give to our best relationships. And we found no better way to do that over the past decade than to profile the people and companies we admire and shout from the rooftops what they're working on. And this interview is no different. So if you've thought about podcasting, you should go to rise25.com to learn more, or email us at support@rise25.com.
Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the interview.
Enjoy.
Hey, John Corcoran here at the Global Leadership Conference in Honolulu, Hawaii from Entrepreneurs Organization. I'm from Rise 25 and EO San Francisco, and I'm here with Stephanie Waldrop. And Stephanie, tell us about what your company is and what your company does.
Sure. My company is Employee Benefits International, EBI, and we're in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm an EO Arizona member, and we do employee benefits consulting, helping employers across the U.S., ranging from small employers to just over 6,000 employees, create cost-effective benefit programs to remain competitive as an employer for their employee population. We help manage that risk year over year, compliance, the benefits administration, and employee engagement into those programs.
You started the company 11 years ago. You had 4 partners, or 3 other partners originally, which didn't last for too long. Tell me a little bit about what the origin story was like behind the company, and you ended up parting ways with some of those partners.
Yeah, well, I think at the cusp of the origin story is being part of the healthcare machine, if you will, which I think most people within the U.S. can say is broken in many ways. So I spent just over 11 years on the insurance carrier side and felt like I needed to advocate on behalf of employers with all of the knowledge I had gained about how rates are developed and those costs are managed internally from a profit perspective. And ultimately, I felt like I could do more from the consulting side to help the employer and the employees. Then I went to a large national firm and realized that, quite frankly, there were a lot of misaligned interest in the industry, and found myself once again feeling like I was part of the machine that wasn't benefiting the employer and the employees. So that really led me down wanting to start my own agency or leave the industry. I kind of had those choices, do it my way or don't do it at all. Mm-hmm. And so I launched the agency with 3 business partners who were very large in Ohio but wanted to expand into Arizona. And the reason for that was having kind of plug and play. I was working with larger average client sizes at that point, and so having some infrastructure, if you will, felt like the right way to go. But about a year and a half into that, my business partners decided to sell their agency, and it eroded a lot of the value of our entire partnership agreement, and that led me to purchasing their shares in the company and ultimately becoming a sole entrepreneur.
And so what was that transition like when you became a sole entrepreneur and you're running the company completely on your own?
Yeah.
Was there hard parts of it?
Sure, it was a somersault, to say the very least. I started the company with the understanding that all of this infrastructure was going to be provided, and I could just do what I was very passionate about, which is consulting with the employer and bringing that value and strategy to solving the problems. As this whole relationship unraveled, if you will, I had to then be in the weeds of the company. I needed to now understand, the financials, the P&L, the layers, how to scale that business as I was growing clientele. And those were just not things that I set out to do when I became an owner of the business. I was going to grow and lead a market. And so, it was quite the somersault. But at the end of the day, just like most things that can fall under a traumatic category, I wouldn't take it back. I grew tremendously during that time. And to have the autonomy that I have now as a sole entrepreneur, that's priceless to me.
Yeah. And what role has EO played for you? You've been in it for about 5 years now. How has it been helpful for you as a sole business owner?
Yeah, so EO is the best kept secret, I feel like, in every community that it's in. I stumbled upon EO through other business leaders basically sharing with me, you've got to get plugged into EO. I never set out to really be the entrepreneur behind my business, if that makes sense. And I had no formal training in many of the roles that I had assumed. And so I was kind of just learning trial and error, like a lot of people who are starting and scaling something they're passionate about from the ground up. And so what EO did was really those experience shares, those lessons learned. I could really leverage a community that had been there, done that. Or we're going through the same things, regulatory changes, things that were affecting businesses together. And so it really is everything from a resource, a pool, a very rich and vast resource pool to people who are personally invested in your success. I mean, my forum has been together since I started in EO. They were, of course, together before I joined them, but just the stability of that group, the depth of those relationships, and there's not a thing I could go through as a person or as a professional, as a business leader, that I wouldn't have a whole community jump on a phone on a moment's notice to help me through it if I needed it. So the power of EO is just amazing.
Stephanie, thanks for your time. Where can people go to learn more about you and learn about your company?
Sure. So I'm certainly on the EO directory, but www.ebint.com is my website, and certainly you can contact me through that. And my email and cell phone number are in the directory. So happy to connect with members and help with anything that they need.
Great. Thanks so much.
Hi, my name is Chris Schalleur. I'm with Christo IT Services. We are a managed service provider. We handle help desk and cybersecurity and cloud for small businesses in the Philadelphia area for over 25 years now. Well, I'm going through it right now. So a key challenge and a hurdle is people. I'm sure I'm probably preaching to the choir on a lot of the people that are watching this, and we just realized that we lost a key person this morning, put in their notice, and they're going to be leaving us, and so we have to go back up the hill again and go and fight another battle. So we live and we learn, and we're going to get a little bit better each day. I feel like the people move a little bit more fluid than has been in previous years. It is a little bit more of a challenge, but it also adds the soup's not getting stale. How about that? It adds a little bit more ingredients, and then the constant churn is something that we're just going to have to embrace, because that seems to be the way things are moving forward. A major milestone that Christo IT, I'm really proud of this milestone for me, because it was one of the original reasons that I came to EO. Was I was an IT guy and a guy with a laptop and a prayer, and I didn't really have a great playbook on how to lead people. It was actually one of the reasons I joined EO, was I didn't have that playbook in my head. And so a really great milestone for us has been over the past year, my leadership team has really started to gel and has started to lead themselves and started to lead their teams under them without a constant prodding from me. So kudos to all of them, and I really felt that was a growth in our organization, and I direct a lot of that from EO. A key resource that I really lean in on is the community. The IT community in general has been a stalwart throughout the journey for me. It's been absolutely uplifting to see some of these people over 25 years in business, people that have formed businesses with me. They've grown their businesses. Some of them have sold their businesses, and everyone is always so quick with extending a hand, wanting to help. We had several crises over the past couple of years, particularly with cybersecurity, and the community at large is always just very philanthropic, very willing to give, very willing to help. And that translates both into the IT community and here in EO. Chris Schalleur with Christo IT. We can be found at www.christoit.com, serving the Philadelphia area for over 25 years. And we're always willing to help. It's our mission statement, and it's been a pleasure.
My name is Ed Howie, and I am an EO member been a member of EO for 12 years. I'm currently serving as the president of our San Antonio chapter and will be serving another term starting in July. I'm part of several businesses, including being the founder and CEO of BTY, which stands for Boldest Truest You. We're a strategy firm, and we just launched a new company last year called Serve Others Well, and we're a training company. And our overall mission through with strategy or training is to really enable people to do all they can with what they have and to do it well. So the longer I've been in EO, the more I've realized that EO is way more than the local chapter, even though I'm obviously a huge fan of the local chapter. And just arriving here in Hawaii kind of late based on a delayed flight, I had been here at the convention center for 10 minutes and ran into 3 what I would consider close EO friends just within the first 10 minutes. And to me, that was just an incredible reminder that the content's great and the learning's great, but it really is reconnecting with all these like-minded individuals who truly understand what it's like to be an isolated entrepreneur and what it's like to support each other. So as we talk about major challenges we face in business, my company BTY, the strategy firm, been in business almost 22 years. And it's interesting that you would think you overcome a hurdle and then you don't have to face it again. Well, I believe it's actually rather cyclical. And so with us being a service-based organization, it is that fine line of having too many clients and not having enough clients. You want to be able to provide the brilliant service and intel like we do with strategy, but then you don't want to have wasted resources because our warehouse, our inventory is our human capital. And so that doesn't change, even though the look, the flavor, the tone of it can change. And I'd say the other hurdle of being in business for 22 years is as you go from someone who's an incubator launching a company to running a company to wanting to extend the company past your direct involvement. The schizophrenia it creates as far as your identity and knowing when to lean in, lean out, that kind of stuff. It's not boring, is it? When I started my company 22 years ago, it was a very cool conversation with my wife, and the uptake of it was that I wanted to create an enterprise that could help people do all they can with what they had. Not be worried about what they used to have or what they wish they had, but you've got this opportunity, this enterprise, what can you do with it to serve as many people well as possible? And I'm really proud that not only have we done that through BTY, but me and some close friends and business partners have started this new company called Serve Others Well, which is kind of like ESO for the brand experience. We have identified what the best practices of the most beloved brands are in systemizing the way you care for each other and having the opportunity to teach that to organizations that aren't having to pay us for strategy, where they're paying us for intel, insights, and systems that they can then go implement. The magic framework, the magic methodology, the mindset is the Wonder of WOOO. And that is that everything you do to your customers, well, and to your employees and to each other, either woos or poos, and we think we should woo more and poo less. So favorite resources. As an entrepreneur, I would tell you, put the phone down. I mean, oh my gosh. How many stories, how many LinkedIn messages, and I'm a marketer, but you're getting constantly inundated with, here's a way to optimize your email list, or here's a way to reduce taxes and all this kind of stuff. And I think we get data overload, and we also causes us to question the decisions we've already made because all of a sudden we have this new input. So I would say one of the greatest things I've found, not only through EO, but just as a business owner, is be incredibly curious, but be incredibly careful. Be curious about trying to find the information, but at some point you just got to make a decision and go for it and just try to make the best decision. And whatever you decide, live with it and figure it out. Make it better, make it worse, whatever it is. But don't second guess yourself because our brain works that way that, I can always think of a better way I could have done it. One thing that's interesting about being in marketing and branding is that one of the foundational principles is you truly understand what the customer wants. So being in business for 22 years, I will tell you that, and this may sound counterintuitive, it may actually sound wrong, but it's right. You don't want every customer. You can't take care of every customer, and not every customer is reasonable. Now, I believe in proactively serving our customers, that kind of thing, but at the same point, you can only serve reason to reason. And I have seen greater impact on businesses of gently releasing that customer that's actually not serving your enterprise well, frankly, gently releasing that team member who's not serving your enterprise well, because, this is, I don't care whether you're B2B, B2C, whatever, it is all human connection. And you're either leaning into the positive of it or you're being distracted and brought down by the negative. So if you want some more of this Ed Howie wisdom, we actually did just launch a podcast called the Wonder of WOOO podcast. We've got about 40 episodes out there. There's some YouTube out there yet. We're going to relaunch that later this year, but it's on podcast for sure. Really talking about how you can inspire yourself and others to serve others well through all different examples, all different types of experiences. I had 17 years with Chick-fil-A, so had a great experience with brands that actually do that very well. And guess what? There's a secret formula that can apply to everyone. And then if you want to find me, it's edhowie.com or BTYcreative.com or serveotherswell.com.
Hey, John Corcoran. I'm coming to you live from the Entrepreneurs Organization Global Leadership Conference in beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii, 2025. And I am a member of the EO San Francisco chapter, and I'm also the co-founder of Rise 25, which does B2B podcasting and content marketing. And I'm here with Sage, who's known as the cybersecurity chick, and has a company as well and related to that. What is the company that you have?
It's called TechWorks.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does TechWorks do?
So we're a managed service provider and a cybersecurity company. So basically, if you think about it, everything from my mouse isn't working, I can't get the computer on, to we're buying another business, we had a breach, we want a full cybersecurity, we have compliances, so manufacturing, law, healthcare, et cetera. They all utilize us to keep their data and their people safe.
And your husband had started the company.
Yeah.
And then you had an incident where you walked out on a previous company, and then that's how you ended up becoming the cybersecurity chick?
So my husband started the company in 2008, and I was in the finance. I was at Morgan Stanley, I was at Merrill Lynch, I was at, I forgot Deutsche Bank. Okay. So I'm at the banks, and one day I literally just left. I had 2 kids that were under the age of 3.
And what motivated that? Was something negative?
Well, no, it was more, I was sitting at a meeting. I'd gotten to work at 6 a.m. for a meeting, and then for 42 minutes we talked about football, and it was 7:42, and by 8:15 I was on a train to Secaucus, back to New Jersey. My husband calls me up. He's like, "What you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm going home." He goes, "What happened?" I go, "I quit." He goes, "Quit what?" I'm like, "My job." He goes, "I think you should turn around and go back getting your job." I was like, "No, I think I'm going to go home." You were tired of that
they were talking about things that you weren't interested, they weren't focused. What was the kind of the impetus?
Sometimes you just know it's time. It was time. Yeah. So I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Decided to go home. I had 2 kids under 3. I lasted 3 months. That is a hard job.
Very hard.
I lasted 3 months before I thought everything was going to explode. And so my husband's like, "Why don't you just come work with me for a little bit? You've got a project management certification and you can help this and that." I started dabbling a little bit. And by 2015, I'd taken over sales, marketing, and operations. And I was CEO of TechWorks. So
you basically did a hostile takeover of your husband's firm and became the cybersecurity chick.
You know what? He may agree to that. Yeah. So he ran all of tech and finance. And I knew that I could sell anything and do anything because he could make anything happen.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. And so you're CEO. Then let's talk about some of the challenges of stepping into that role when you became CEO of the firm.
I'll tell you. So my challenge was I was part of big corporations. Things were huge. I didn't really know how to work with small and medium businesses. So, John, I hit every single networking event you could think of. I had to build a Rolodex. I didn't have EO at the time. This was 2013. I wasn't in EO. 2014, 2015. I went to every chamber, every BNI, and I built.
And with young kids at the same time.
And with young kids, and I built. You know what, though? My husband, he worked from home. He, the father of the year, he just nailed it. Mm-hmm. And so I just built all my contacts, and little by little, you start whittling away the fat, and you have more core, then you whittle and you come back. I joined a couple mastermind groups. Then I joined EO. And really, it was just about finding the right tribe. We had all sorts of challenges, from how do we increase sales. I did take the company from 1 million to 5 million within 3.5 years. We rocked it. We were really doing well. The biggest challenge was honestly working with my husband, living together, working together, married, kids.
That was hard formula.
It was hard. It was very hard.
Did it come to a head at some point?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. We had a ton of trouble for a little bit, went to therapy, we sort of, for lack of a better word, got our shit together. We figured out our boundaries, hired people to mediate, like to sit in between us. We had like a COO kind of person, an assistant. So I wasn't asking him for things and stuff like that. So the challenges really came around that. And then on building the company, which I think every entrepreneur goes through, right? You're looking for sales, you're looking for profit, you're looking for revenue, et cetera.
Yeah. And then you've been really involved in EO. Actually, before I get to your experience in the path of leadership in EO, when did you officially become the cybersecurity chick? Was that like a nickname, the moniker that was given to you?
Yeah, so there weren't a ton of women in cybersecurity. There were a ton of women that owned businesses because they were women-owned, but I was really one of the few women in the tech business. I don't know if you know, but my husband passed away in 2019, and I actually took over the full company, and I was, even way before that, I was one of the few women. And so, that was kind of, someone's like, you're the cybersecurity chick. I go, you know what? I am.
Yeah, I love that you step into it.
Yeah, that was it.
And so your husband passes away. At what point did you get more involved in EO? Because I know that you've held leadership roles, which I can't imagine how difficult that would be to step into leadership roles after having lost your husband, young kids, and all of that.
So I got into EO in 2016, and I was one of those that drank the Kool-Aid. I was on the board within 4 months, and I don't think I ever left the board, really. And so EO actually helped. EO was the saving grace. I had EO, and then I had a core circle of friends outside of that. And that's what got me through business, through personal. I wouldn't change a tire without calling somebody from EO from one of my forums.
I imagine you've been to a number of these Global Leadership Conference before. What draws you? Why do you get on a plane? And you live in Barcelona now.
23 hours.
23-hour flight to come here. Why do you come?
People. I have friends and connections around the world. People. This organization has the best people, and they're not entrepreneurs and business people that I just kind of know. They're friends. They're my tribe. They're my go-tos. They're my ride or dies. I moved to Barcelona recently, about 8 months ago.
Yeah, that's a big change.
It was an incredible change, but I miss my New Jersey folks, and so I saw them here, and it was it's incredible. It's the people. Yeah. This organization is its people.
Yeah, and I imagine maybe EO had something to do with moving to Barcelona or giving you the courage to do so?
Absolutely. When you look at people in EO, they're moving around all the time. And it was actually an ex-EO member that sort of gave me the idea of you could still do it. I'm like, okay. It is. EO is one of those things where you just sort of live in it and it lives through you.
Yeah. Sage, this has been great. Where can people go to learn more about you and connect with you?
You can go to SejalLakhani.com. Or you can go to techworks.com.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Rising Entrepreneurs Podcast. This episode is powered by Rise 25. Please subscribe and check out future episodes.